This is the Stick and Hack Show. Conversation, discussion, debate, and golf talk from a stick, Mike Ryan, and the hack, Adam Grubb. Boys, you are up.
All right, everybody, welcome in to the Stick and Hack Show. I'm your host, Adam Grubb, the hack. That's Mike Ryan, the stick. Mike, we're quarantined, man.
I know.
It's not the best.
No, but could be worse.
Yeah. Don't go outside. You'll catch the vid. It's rampant here in our nape of the neck. But we're quarantined, so we're not in the studio today, but it doesn't really matter. If you're listening, you don't care where we are. If you're watching, well, welcome in. So huge show this week. Matt Lake, Director of Operations from One Iron Golf, is on the show, and it's a company that's been around for 30 years or so, Mike, but it's also a theory of the one length club that's been around for over 100 years, and he's on the show today to talk about it. It's something that we've talked about in the past with Bryson DeChambeau kind of coming in and saying, hey, this is how I golf now, and everyone going, oh, wow, this is so revolutionary, but in actuality, it's been around for longer than like the car.
I mean, that's one way to look at it. But, you know.
So Matt Lake on the program today from One Iron Golf. The Stick and Hack Show is quite possibly the greatest golf show in the free world, presented by the Legends brand. They are a member perks partner. Go to Stick and Hack, become a free member today of Stick and Hack, and get discounts, deals, and giveaways from great brands like the Legends brand, proud sponsor of the Stick and Hack Show and a member perks partner for Stick and Hack. You have to be a member in order to get those perks, so become a member today. It's free for life, so I don't know what exactly is stopping you. Go to stickandhack.com today. All right, Mike, first up, let's talk single length and Tommy Armour. Now, you might not know why those names are synonymous with each other and why they're connected, but just for those that might not know, and this is something I didn't actually know, conventional golf clubs are built in half-inch length increments with varying club head lie angles throughout all the sets, right? So besides the driver and the putter, you have 12 clubs, 12 different lengths, 12 different lie angles, which then consequently could be 12 different swings with 12 different postures, 12 different swing planes, 12 different ball positions. It's insane. So the question is, why not just have them all single length? Mike, why not just have them all single length?
It's a good argument.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily understand it or know, but I know that there is some, I'd say there's probably some thought around swing plane and the length of your swing based on the length of the shaft, which that's actually a theory that DeChambeau subscribes to as well, especially with like the driver. That's why he's going to like a 48-inch driver, is because the longer the shaft,
right,
the bigger arc you can make, and in theory, the further you can hit the ball.
Yeah. So the
idea for a pro is okay, but for an amateur, I see the appeal of the one length.
Yeah. So. Well, the idea for the single iron actually back to the 1930s. In fact, maybe even earlier than that. There was a set of irons Bobby Jones designed for Spalding in which every two clubs were the same length. So the 3 and the 4 iron were the same length, the 5 and 6 iron were the same length, and so on and so on. But the first true mass-produced single-length set was the Tommy Armour EQL iron set released in 1988. All the irons were the length of today's traditional 7 irons. Now, the EQL woods were all the length of a traditional 5 wood. Now, I don't know if I could even tell you what if I have a 5 wood. I have no idea. I might. Maybe I don't. I don't know. The Tommy Armour EQLs had some sales success at first. Recreational golfers, the hacks as they were happy to give them a try. The Armour brand was one of the most successful in golf at that time. But for amateurs, the EQLs had problems with distance gapping. Now, distance gapping is, hey, I can hit this club 100 yards, hit this club 115, 120. But what do I do for the 110? And because they were single length, people were having problems getting and understanding where their swing went to get that the distance gapping. So from then until DeChambeau showed up, one length irons were rarely seen product, and women were made only small niche companies like our guest today, One Iron Golf. Tommy Armour's name remains one of the most recognizable in golf decades after his death and decades more since the height of his fame. Why? Well, because Tommy Armour's golf clubs, a brand which has been sold nearly continuously since Armour's heyday, is one of those iconic golf names and golf brands that we know and love today. Do you know much about Tommy, Mike? Do You know much about his career?
I do vaguely. I know. I mean, Tommy Armour to me, mostly I think of the what were the 845 irons.
You're asking me?
I'm
no
asking
idea.
You, I'm just commenting.
Okay.
What do you want?
My God.
That's what I think of when I think of Tommy Armour. I think of those irons when I was younger. But outside of that, I never really saw him play.
Well, he was in a native of Scotland. He won the French Amateur in 1920. He decided to head to America here, and on the boat ride across the Atlantic, he met Walter Hagen. Every time we tell these stories, it shocks me, like when people met and all these great famous golf names, and like, hey, I'm on a boat going across the Atlantic to come to the United States from Scotland, and there's Walter Hagen, who would then become one of the most prolific and famous golfers of all time. Hagen was returning from the British Open. After Hagen and Armour disembarked in New York, Hagen helped Armour land a job at the Westchester Biltmore Club. Soon, Armour was developing a reputation as a great teacher of golf and a great player of the game. Armour jump-started his playing career. He won the 1927 U.S. Open. He defeated Harry Cooper in an 18-hole playoff. Armour went on to win the 1930 PGA Championship and the 1931 British Open, becoming just the third golfer ever after Jim Barnes and Hagen to win all three of those titles. Hagen also was one of those, Armour was one of those teaching professionals, one of the first teaching professionals that was charging at the time basically what would be thousands of dollars an hour for his teaching. And he was laughed at almost in the golfing circles. Like, how are you going to charge that much? And he did. And he realized pretty quickly, okay, this is more fruitful for me than playing golf.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you can get people to pay you without having to play golf.
So Tommy Armour, a couple facts about Tommy, Mike. Armour is believed. Now, this is not this is in the history books, but it's not proven. Is believed to have coined the term yips to describe the nervous affliction that makes short putts treacherous for some golfers, including myself and many others listening to the program right now. He said of the yips, once you've had them, you've got them. Kind of like the vid. Once you've had them, you've got them.
Yep.
So he is believed to have coined the term the yips. In 1927 Shawnee Open, Armour posted a score of 23 on the par 5 17th hole. I'll repeat that. Posted a score of 23 in the Shawnee Open in 1927 on a par 5 17th hole.
That's
this is regarded as the highest single hole score ever in a PGA Tour event, and is believed to be the highest such score on any of the world's major professional tours.
I mean, that's got to be some sort of like a tin cup moment.
23 on a par 5.
Man,
that's four out of bounds right off the bat, baby. That's what that is.
That's something.
Armour's grandson, Tommy Armour III, was a longtime PGA Tour golfer for the 1980s and the 2000s, and a two-time winner. Just imagine that is your grandfather, Mr. Tommy Armour. And golf has always been a family business for a lot of people. And when you start to, Tiger Woods and Charlie Woods are playing together in a tournament, the family atmosphere of golf is something that we celebrate here. And to hear that Armour's grandson was a longtime PGA player is fantastic. And speaking of that, Mike, speaking of family and family business in golf, we bring in our guest, Matt Lake, Director of Operations from One Iron Golf. Matt, welcome into the Stick and Hack Show.
Hi, how are you guys? Thanks for having me.
Outstanding. Thanks for being here. Now, you run the company with your father. You guys are both military veterans, the Army and Navy, and you guys are keeping that rich military tradition and history alive as your two ancestors, I believe, they were in the Revolutionary War, which we'll get to in a second. Upon the completion of your naval service, you worked or graduated from Ohio University with a degree in IT, information technology. And prior to working here at One Iron Golf, you were a senior network engineer for the U.S. Olympic Committee, and you took part as lead IT engineer for the 2016 Rio Summer Games. Quite a pedigree there, quite a resume. And then you said, hey, Dad, I'm done with the IT thing. Let's make some golf clubs.
Kind of. Actually, it was him who swayed me. So Yeah, for a number of years, he always wanted me to work with him at One Iron Golf. And so finally one day I did want to get out of IT. I wanted to really learn the business side. Always loved to play golf. Definitely a hack for sure. Just because, when you're in business with something, you generally just want to have fun with it, when you can. So, yep. So I've been working here with him, and finally got me out of IT and away from the Olympic Committee. So,
well, you are director of ops for One Iron Golf. Tell me a little bit about the company. You guys, 30 years, you guys have been selling single linked irons. And then one day, Bryson DeChambeau shows up in the golf world and says, "Hey, I'm going to use the same length clubs from now on." And people are like, "This is so revolutionary. Oh my God, incredible." He made it cool all of a sudden. Does that annoy you, or are you okay with it?
Oh, no, not annoying at all. In fact, what's great about it is it's not really so much of an uphill battle. Anytime you go against anything convention, certainly golf clubs or, in any business, you're always going to run into those struggles. Well, if it's so great, why don't everybody do it, kind of thing. And so it's always been an uphill battle. And, certainly on our website, we have a 60-page book to download too. I mean, our website is just an encyclopedia devoted to single length golf. From a very high level to very, deep into the physics of the golf swing, because you kind of have to give way more information to people in order for it not to be such an uphill battle. So, but then once you peel back and look at it from like a 500-foot view, it just really makes sense. It's like, well, it's actually kind of common sense. And it's like, well, it's not at first. You got to give all this explanation of everything as to why it is before people actually come on board with it. So,
Matt, what are some of the negatives, that people believe about single length clubs that are either, not true or there's misleading?
Absolutely. So the biggest one is shaft length. Shaft length and iron play, they believe that has something to do with distance, but it doesn't. You had mentioned earlier about Bryson DeChambeau's driver. That's a different arc and a different plane. So certainly, that longer shaft and in that arc and plane is going to result in in increased distance, but it doesn't with iron play whatsoever. So that is a common misconception that shaft length has something to do with distance, and it really doesn't. So yeah, we get that question quite a bit, and really, the answer is quite simple. For distance in iron play is swing speed, solid center ball contact, and the loft angle of the club. Those are really the three metrics to distance, and shaft length just doesn't really have a part of it at all. So,
Matt Lake, Director of Operations from One Iron Golf, is with us here on the Stick and Axe Show. Matt, with all of the irons being the same length, a golfer can theoretically use the same setup and exact same swing for every club. There's no need to move the ball forward or backwards in your stance, and it's supposed to be easier. Do I have that right? Golf easier by your clubs?
Yeah, I mean, it really, it doesn't make anything really like easy, but it does remove a lot of the questions. When you have a same setup, a same swing plane, same ball position, and really where it helps too is on the driving range. With our clubs, they're all exactly the same, with the exception of a precise 4-degree loft angle progression. So for exact distance gapping of 10 yards between clubs. And, most hacks just assume the distance between their 7 and 8 irons, 10 yards. But that's usually not the case, So it really takes away a lot of that guesswork. Where am I supposed to put the ball? I need to bend my knees a little bit more with this 9 iron, and so one of our feedbacks that we get is probably number 3 on the list is, you just made beer drinking so much easier on the golf course. It's like, well, that's not really what we're in business for, but fantastic. Hope your wife's really appreciative of that one. Or husband.
That's fantastic.
Well, let me ask you a follow-up on that, because you said your website, it's oneirongolf.com, the numeral oneirongolf.com, is an encyclopedia of history of that, but also the science and the technology and the reasons behind it. It is a sales tool to get people to understand and to try it, and at the very least, go out and see if this works. Now, you guys were recommended to us by one of our members who said, "Hey, you guys should have these guys on. They're out of Ohio. They're the cool family run business. Been doing this a long time. But that wouldn't have been the case 10 years ago. Nobody would have said, hey, you should get one iron golf on because, well, first of all, we didn't have a show, but second of all, that it wasn't even thought of in most golf circles as something that could help your game and make the game more approachable and more fun, and easier mentally. That, okay, hey, I just know I need to replicate this every single time. I mean, how fun is it for you guys to be building this and seeing this 100-year-old theory come to fruition now with people like Bryson and other golfers who are trying it?
Yeah, I tell you, it's fantastic. And, when my father came up, with our company and the idea, for our company going forward, it adds credence to what he's been saying this whole time, that, this works. It's a simplified approach, not necessarily makes the game any easier by any means. You're still going to have bad golf shots. We can't remove all the fun out of the game, right? But it really does. It adds credence to what he's been saying for so many years. That this is a very common sense, very easy approach to the game. So whether it's we have hackers and we have sticks, certainly that play our clubs, and and our success rate is so much so that it does and it can work for everybody. So that's really what we enjoy about it, is that now, certainly the name and everything, like I said, it's been an uphill battle for sure, trying to come up with something that a lot of people don't know. Now, a lot of people don't know that this has been around since the Hickory days, and or Tommy Armour, or some people, well, I heard Tommy Armour and this failed back then, and, all these other things. But realistically, that's one of the greatest things, is that, the concept is finally catching on to where people are like, okay, I believe button is pushed, let me try them out. And that's certainly what we afford them to do, for sure.
History does tell us, though, that Tommy Armour was not using single length clubs when he had a 23 on that par 5. So maybe that's why he switched. Goes, son of a bitch, this doesn't work. I need to go back to the single length clubs.
Hey, Matt, take us through the importance of club fitting with one length irons. I'm interested to kind of hear how important that is, and if there are any differences from how you might get fit for a regular, a normal set of clubs.
Normal set, conventional, absolutely. So we use a wrist to floor measurement in order to properly fit club length. But really, what we're fitting the golfer to is the ideal line goal of 63.5 degrees for all the irons. So for the 3-iron to the lob wedge, it's 63.5 degrees, and that's ideal. Just over the years and years of studies and research that we've done as a company, that is by far the easiest to get to solid center contact, for golfers. So we use a wrist to floor measurement system for fitting, and that obviously has club length, as part of that equation. But it's really the line goal is what we're fitting the golfer to, that ideal line goal. So that's the measurement that we use. A lot of golfers, especially in the conventional world, they'll take a golfer's height, and even sometimes golfers' weight too. I don't really know what that has to do with anything, but they do. But a golfer's height doesn't really matter, because, golfers, some golfers' heads are bigger than other guys. Their necks are bigger. That doesn't do anything for a golf swing whatsoever. And also, a golfer's wingspan doesn't always match their height either. So it's really a matter of getting that ideal line goal so that they get to solid center contact. So that's really the fitting.
I just got a picture of a couple people that we know, Mike, that their height doesn't exactly fit their wingspan. And I would argue that a body shape doesn't affect the golf swing, because I've seen there's some prime examples of some people's golf swing that you're like, man, if you just slim down a bit, maybe mixed in a salad, you might be able to get around that ball.
Absolutely, but it is interesting seeing some of these guys that don't look like they have an athletic bone in their body. They'll still have an old cigarette hanging out of their mouth, and while they're up driving and hitting, and they're scratch golfers.
John Daly comes to mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. JD comes to mind there. What have you seen over the last several years with technology and the absolute, in some cases, your little sub circles and this subgroup that are like all about technology, but specifically about one length clubs? it's a whole other thing in some subcultures of golf where they swear by it, they talk about it, they have, meetup groups and the chat rooms and this whole thing. Does that surprise you that's that important to people that they would put together an entire website just to have conversations about single link clubs?
Absolutely. I mean, it has really taken off, and no matter what you come out with or what you do, you're always going to have your captain after the facts, right? Like these guys that are like, oh yeah, well I thought of this, 20 years ago, and had I done something about it, I could have been a millionaire, and all these kinds of things. But what's great is that the word's really spreading around, and and it's great. Obviously, it's great for business. But it is a much, again, 500-foot view, looking at it, it does really just make a lot of sense. The one big thing that really sets us apart is that we do it based on the wrist to floor measurement. So we fit to the individual. We don't fit golf clubs to the masses. And that's certainly what Tommy Armour did too, with his clubs. They were one length, they were one size, fits everybody. But in all of our, data, I mean, we have customer data, going back 24, 25 years now. And a single club length only fits 9% of the total golfing population. So the idea that, well, if it's so great, why don't, it'd be much easier to just mass produce, a single set of clubs. And it's like, well, that only fits 9% of people, that one length, even two lengths together, 18%. So, for us, we don't have a mass production model. We want to build to the individual. So that's really what our niche has always been, is a proper fit, and that's certainly spread out throughout our website too, that they have to fit you in order for you to realize, the full benefits of, the single plane swing.
Matt Lake, Director of Operations from One Iron Golf on the Stick and Hack program.
Everybody has, and you talked about this a little bit already, Matt, but everybody has a unique swing, and some have a lot going on in their swing. I'm not mentioning anyone on the screen here at all, but can this theory help every type of golfer, or do you guys see where there are specific types of golfers that this helps more?
Yeah, it's really a broad range. The spectrum really is, and we have scratch golfers that have it seems like the better you are at something, the more skeptical you are about change. But one of the great things is that, when a golfer does do that, who's a scratch golfer, they say, you know what, it's free to try, for 30 days, and I can send it back if I don't like them. And they're like, your clubs have greatly improved my game. Certainly with hackers too. It seems like, everybody's looking for that magic pill, right? A magic pill that makes them, 200 pounds solid, and makes them look like they're 20 years old again. And then certainly that's with the game of golf. Everybody's just looking for that edge, looking for that, how can I get better? I know I can get better at my game. And so that's really it. It's really all over the place. Some of our best success stories that we have are when golfers are like, I've been a bogey golfer my entire life, and then I've played your clubs. Some get it immediately, get it right away. They'll go out and be like, gosh, this is what I've been missing. I already have the mental prep going. Other guys, it can take some time to really acclimate to it. But those are the greatest success stories. Like, I've just played bogey golf my entire life. Now I'm actually thinking about maybe joining the tour,
Jeez.
And everybody has that idea.
That escalated quickly, Matt.
It did. I know but it's really, or senior golfers joining the senior tour. So I think everybody out there, has always had, like, it's the thing about golf, even for hacks for sure, is, you have that one good hole. That one good hole, and you're like, man, if I could just do that every time, I'd be on tour. I think everybody said that in their mind. So, so getting, the right equipment, to the golfers, those are some of the best that we've had. And we even have guys in their hundreds still playing our clubs in tournaments too. So, we just love to hear those kinds of stories because it has greatly improved their game. And it's really all about just making the game fun. Guys don't like to go out there and, shoot 110, spend all that money and say, I just spent all that money to go out there and just blow it up today, So, that's what we tell them. But a lot of guys, they don't want to practice either. They just don't want to do it. I don't like to go to the drive. I'll go to the driving range for 2 golf balls before I go. They don't want to practice. And really, realistically, with our clubs, you only have to practice with a single iron. You don't have to practice with every single one of them out there. You're going to get a lot of goofy looks with a single iron, out there. But just say, how many swing planes do you need? The center ball position is very simple.
Fair, man, I get a lot of weird looks anyway. And I just Mike and I've been club members at this club near us for years, and I just noticed that we have a driving range. So I had no idea we had a practice facility, but apparently there's one just to the right of the number 1 tee. So I will check that out. You mentioned something though about looking strange, and we say his name all the time, and I don't want to, but we talking about this topic. There's really no way to not. Bryson looks ridiculous when he plays golf for a lot of reasons. Number one, he gained 100 pounds in a day and a half. That's number two is that his arms are straight down, and he looks uncomfortable. It doesn't look like he's comfortable over the ball. He looks like he's constipated. He's got a lot going on, right? Is that how everyone needs to look with this iron? Or can you have your own setup and your own comfortability and stand there in your own posture? Mike, you might be able to answer this question too. How does that work? And do I have to look as ridiculous as he looks if I use your clubs? Because
you're absolutely right. I mean, he looks like a tree trunk that can move.
Yeah.
It's really what it is. Yeah, it does. It looks very painful and everything. Yeah. And and obviously, when you have a professional golfer, like Bryson, people try to copy, his swing and stuff like that. He's very successful with so they try to. The fact is too, like his clubs, they're so upright. They're about 72.5 degrees upright, and only a small percentage of golfers would be able to hit solid center contact with any sort of consistency, with that kind of angle. But it doesn't have to be like that. Like you said, you go out there, you see some guys that you're like, gosh, there's no way this guy should be even swinging a golf club. It looks like he's hurting himself, and he goes out and birdies almost every hole.
Yeah.
So the swing is really, we always say, kind of let the club, guide you in position. The clubs are going to fit them perfectly for sure. Based on the wrist to floor measurement, but obviously the squarer the club face, in general, the better. So some guys will have that, toe down, toe up, just kind of real, and then they'll do like a real goofy kind of, but as long as they get to solid contact, that's all that matters. That's really what we're concerned with. So having that swing plane is, that's what's imperative to having it, but it's easily repeatable too. So if they do get to solid contact and they feel that, obviously the body's muscle memory is much more easily going to remember and duplicate a single motion instead of several. Or, we see a lot of golfers too, they have a favorite club, right? Like almost all golfers, like, oh yes, some guys it's a 3-iron, believe it or not. Some of these, NBA players and things are like, I just feel comfortable with this club. Other guys, it's a pitching wedge, and typically that club kind of comes closest to fitting them out of a golf set. And so they're like, yeah, I would love to have all these the same. That'd be fantastic. And but we don't, base our fitting off a golfer's favorite club. But a lot of times that does match up. So a lot of other things happen when they do have a favorite club. They're naturally going to swing that club faster, right? So we talk about distance gapping a little bit earlier. If a golfer has a favorite iron in their bag, they're going to swing that club faster than the club above and below it because they know they can hit it on the screws. Well, that certainly screws up distance gapping for the other two clubs. So, where they just assume it's 10 yards, but it really isn't. And, that's the difference between a double bogey golfer and a bogey golfer, certainly, is knowing what your distance gaps actually are. And with our clubs, everything being identical about them, just that loft angle progression, it really, automatically in their mind, they just assume, well, when the 8 irons, 10 yards, 7 irons, 10 yards. So they apply that to our clubs, and it actually does fit that. So,
yeah. That's really, really good.
So last question. Would a set of your clubs make Adam into a stick?
Overnight.
Yeah. Overnight. Could you custom make me a set of clubs? And does my hackness turn into stickness overnight?
I wouldn't say overnight. I mean, just as with anything else, you got to acclimate to it. We would love to be able to say that, hey, this is this magic pill out of the box, with one of those wacky, wavy, inflatable tube men.
Oh, you watch your mouth. Those guys are fantastic.
So certainly, sometimes it is overnight. It's an overnight thing where, guys just get it Other times, it's really about like removing some ingrained bad habits of years of conventional play. Like the mind says, we got a club with a number 4 on it. I got to swing this faster than the club with a number 9 on it. So it's really up to the individual golfer when they do acclimate. And the acclimation period definitely depends on the golfer, but we say you'll have a great idea within 30 days if they're going to work for you. So
yeah. Well, that is my goal, is to be on the tour. So hopefully I will get your set. Now, you guys do custom build clubs. They can go to oneiron.golf.com. It's the numeral 1irongolf.com, and learn more about your company, but also have a conversation with you about what could work for them. And you've got a lot of people at your company that can kind of help mold somebody's set and specifically for them. They're one length, but it's not just mass produced one length irons and you can go get them at Costco. This is specific to that golfer to help their game. And what you're doing is awesome. What you guys have been doing for 30 years is just now getting the publicity that it probably has deserved for so many. Matt, it just continued success out there. And hopefully this show is going to drive some more people just to understand what this is and what it could do for their game, and for them to try it out. And if it doesn't work and they're no better than they were before, well, what the hell? Who cares? Right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the stick and hack life. Matt, do you want to play in or out with us?
Absolutely.
All right. So the game is in or out, and that's of our foursome. So there's 3 of us, and if we are going to be asking in or out of this person is completing our foursome. Okay. And these are TV characters. All right, here we go. In or out. Mike will go with you first on each one of these, and then Matt, and then I'll answer. Okay.
Okay.
In or out on the Stick and Hack Show. In or out TV characters. Chandler Bing.
Chandler Bing's an in for me. Yeah.
Matt.
Honestly, I don't know who that is.
Your first name out of the box.
There it is. From Friends.
From
Friends.
Friends.
He's one
Chandler
of the characters
Bing.
from Friends. Chandler Bing.
Yeah. Don't think I've ever seen that show. It's default out.
Hold on a second. We might cancel the game. You've never seen an episode of Friends?
Never have. No. So when I was in the military, for 6 years. I lived in Japan. So there's a stretch of time that I don't know anything.
You just pulled the military card on me. What the hell am I supposed to do now? How am I supposed to get out of this one, Mike?
That's fantastic.
Dear God, the parachute's a knapsack.
That was just an example. All
right, that's fine. Now I feel like a jerk. Second, Homer Simpson.
I'm going to say out on Homer for golf.
Matt?
I'd say in, but only for 9 holes. That's about all I could take.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I say out as well, Mike. I'm with you. Homer doesn't do much for me. Don Draper.
Don Draper, he's in. I think Don Draper's in, yeah.
All right. So, Matt, I just want you to give me give me a thumbs up here if you know who they are, and nothing if you don't. That way I don't embarrass you again. Don Draper. Do you know who Don Draper is? All right. He's from Mad Men.
See, it's
right, this is exactly what I was fearing. Don Draper from Mad Men, he's in 100%. Not even a question. One of the coolest cats in America, and one of the coolest characters. And he'll talk about advertising and marketing all day. And I'm in. And he'll have his Chesterfields, and he'll be rocking and rolling. Tony Soprano.
I'm going to go out because I don't really want to give him the possibility of wanting to have me like offed.
Right. I say out as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely out, because you feel like you have to lose to him, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yes.
In or out TV characters here in the Stick and Axe Show. We are 2 for 4 with people that Matt knows so far. There's no chance you know who this is, so this will be great. Leslie Knope.
Leslie Knope. I'm going to say in.
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be entertaining. Yes.
Yeah. Matt, the obligatory doesn't know who that is. I can tell by his face. She's from Parks and Recreation.
Yep.
Okay. So she's out by default.
Yep.
Okay. Fonzie.
Out. I'm gonna
Jeez.
go out on Fonzie.
God. Fonzie's
Yeah,
the worst.
way out on Fonzie. I feel like
Absolutely.
Fonzie would be like too cool to
Oh,
be like think he's too cool to like
Yeah.
play golf, so he would just be not even interested.
right. And with our foursome, there's already somebody who's too cool. We can't have two of us.
That is true. Who? What? Say that again.
Saul Goodman,
Saul Goodman.
Breaking Bad. For those of
I'm
you
gonna
who
go
don't
in. I'm gonna go in.
know. Yeah,
Actually,
I go in as well.
do know this one, and I would say in as well.
Okay. All right. Saul Goodman is in. Lemon.
I'm in. I'm in with Liz Lemon. Yeah.
In for me, Liz Lemon. 30 Rock. Matt. She is Tina Fey in 30 Rock.
Okay. Yeah, I don't
Interrupt.
really watch a whole lot of TV, so I
Shocking.
don't know.
I know we're starting to kind of feel that.
I read a lot, so yeah. I don't, sorry about
Time
that.
me
I'm one
one
of those
more
nerds.
time, Matt, and I'll cut you off this show. I just gave you a 22-minute plug, and you're going to come at me with the military and that you read? Give me a break. All right, David Rose.
All right. So first off, I love David Rose's character,
Yeah.
and I feel like he would have no interest in playing golf. whatsoever.
Zero.
So
I
I'm
want him.
thinking-
I want him on our foursome for
Yes.
that reason.
Well, I just don't think he would.
100%.
He would look at us like we were just bothering him. And
David Rose from Schitt's Creek,
No way.
Matt, a show I guarantee you I've never even heard of. First of all, Canadian. Second of all, it's on a network you probably don't even get. And he's the best. David Rose is in our foursome, whether you want him in there or not, Matt. That's the
You got it. I'll take your recommendation. Absolutely.
Thank you. All right, and the last one here on In or Out TV characters, Stick and Hack foursome with Matt, Mike, and myself. Phil Dunphy.
Phil Dunphy's in all day.
Phil Dunphy is in all day. Matt, what do you think of Phil Dunphy?
What do I have? Like Homer Simpson and Saul? Like,
You don't know Phil Dunphy either?
No way. He knows that. No.
Phil
Modern
Dunphy,
Family.
Modern Family.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could have said anything there. We
Yeah,
could have
pretty much.
said-
Yeah, you could have totally lied to me, and I'd have been like, okay, yeah.
Oh gosh! All right. Well, there we
This
go,
is great.
guys. That's In or Out, and Matt is going to be drug along by duress with a bunch of people he doesn't know and doesn't want to be around, and he'll have nothing to talk to them about except single length clubs. Matt, there he goes. Thank you so much for being on the program. We appreciate it. Matt Lake, Director of Operations from One Iron Golf. Go to oneirongolf.com, learn more about their company and their incredible story, and see if single length clubs is right for you. Matt, have a great holiday season, and thanks so much for being on the program.
You too. Thank you so much for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
All right,
Thanks,
there he goes, Matt Lake. Mike, proud of you. Great show. Thank you so much for making this happen, even though we're in quarantine. Stick and Hack
Absolutely.
Show, possibly the greatest golf show in the entire free world, presented by Sick Cups. Go to member perks page on stickandhack.com and get exclusive deals and discounts from great brands around the country like Sick Cups. Show yours, Mike. Don't you have yours up there?
I do right here.
Yeah. There he
Yeah.
is. Go
Very
to
nice.
sickcups.com to learn more. They're a proud sponsor as well as the Legends brand here of this show. Mike, have a great Christmas holiday season. The top 20 of 2020 coming up our next show. So you and I aren't going to be together until 2021. Thank God.
There is a God. Oh my God.
I will see you later.
Peace out, guys.
The Stick and Hack Show is now over. Subscribe, rate, comment, and tell your friends. You are now free to go about your day.